To trending news south of the border now. President Joe Biden, along with Vice President and Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris, met with Israel's PM today. This as crews continue the cleanup after protests erupted during his address to a joint session of Congress yesterday. Louis Bucco joins us in studio with more. And Louis, how is this speech being received?
Well, there's definitely been some pushback. Today's meeting comes after the Israeli Prime Minister delivered a fiery defense of Israel's war in Gaza in a more than hour-long address to Congress yesterday. U.S. President Joe Biden meeting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the Oval Office this afternoon.
So from a proud Jewish Zionist to a proud Irish-American Zionist, I want to thank you for 50 years of public service and 50 years of support for the State of Israel. And I look forward to discussing with you today and working with you in the months ahead on the great issues before us.
Netanyahu thanking Biden for his support for Israel in the first face-to-face talks for the two men since Biden traveled to Israel in the days after the attack from Hamas on October 7th. The president thanked Netanyahu and noted that his first meeting with an Israeli Prime Minister, Golda Meir, was in 1973, soon after he was elected to the Senate.
That's how far back it goes. I was only 12 then. Anyway, thank you all for being here.
Meanwhile, just outside the White House gates, protests erupted for the second day in a row. Authorities were forced to block off Lafayette Park and Pennsylvania Avenue in front of the White House to the public. The move was done to prevent any potential problems as the two leaders met inside. Protesters have been causing traffic problems in the nation's capital since Netanyahu arrived, and they paraded an effigy of him near the White House today. Yesterday, pro-Palestinian protesters clashed with pro-Israel demonstrators, burning flags and spray-painting monuments, resulting in a number of arrests. Today, National Park Service crews began the cleanup outside Union Station, saying it could take days to remove graffiti from the Columbus Fountain. Before her meeting with Netanyahu today, Vice President Harris condemning the protests, writing, "We saw despicable acts of unpatriotic protesters and dangerous hate-fueled rhetoric. I condemn any individuals associating with the brutal terrorist organization Hamas, which has vowed to annihilate the state of Israel and kill Jews. I condemn the burning of the American flag. I support the right to peacefully protest, but let's be clear, anti-Semitism, hate, and violence of any kind have no place in our nation." Back at the White House following the Biden and Netanyahu meeting, U.S. officials say they're getting closer to a potential ceasefire deal.
And we are close. We are closer now, we believe, than we've been before. The gaps are closable, no question about that. And we believe, the president believes, that getting that hostage deal in place, getting that 6-week ceasefire, that's the best way to get all these loved ones back with their families.
Biden was expected to put strong pressure on Netanyahu to end the 9-month conflict and accept a ceasefire deal. Officials believe securing peace in the region would be a major victory to Biden's one-term presidency. Netanyahu was also expected to meet with former president and Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump Friday at Mar-a-Lago. Elsewhere, officials from Egypt, Israel, the U.S., and Qatar had been expected to meet today in Doha with the aim of resuming talks for a proposed 3-phase ceasefire to end the war and free the remaining hostages. However, an Israeli official said Israel's negotiating team was delayed and would likely be dispatched next week. The health ministry in Gaza says more than 39,100 Palestinians have been killed in the war so far.